Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And you're probably going to notice this is a little weird. We're in a different room. In fact, we're in a completely different house. I actually just got approved for my first formal lease here with my girlfriend. And yeah, now I'm living with my girlfriend, who, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you may have seen pictures of. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably will see pictures of. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. So here I am. But anyway, I want to let you guys know it's probably going to be a little while before I can actually set it up and customize it how I want. Obviously, in my last videos, I had all my Warcraft comics on the wall. I had my Sylvanas Teldrassil print on the wall. And so it might be a little bit before you guys see those things reappear kind of in the setting in the background. But I'm super happy. I'm really excited. And yeah, I can't wait to share more of this with you. So thank you guys for making things like this possible. But let's move on. Classic World of Warcraft. You guys, I didn't know if I was going to play it or not. I was on the fence. I have been on the fence for a while because I never played Classic. I never played TBC. I never played Wrath. In fact, I never played Cataclysm. I started in the mists of Pandaria. And with that being said, I didn't really appreciate the play style of Classic. Very slow, more methodical. Doesn't take a ton of thinking as far as like strategizing, but you do realize pretty quickly that if you pull 2 mobs, and especially if you pull 3 mobs, you're probably fucking dead. I did choose to play Warlock, and I'm going to throw in some footage from my stream of me playing last night, of me playing Warlock, and just kind of doing my thing. Disclaimer, I know nothing about Classic. I don't know how you're supposed to build your character. I don't know most things about Classic, but it is World of Warcraft. And when I first made my Warlock, I decided to make my Warlock an undead. This is back in MoP, and I was an undead Warlock named Risen, which I thought was pretty cool. I do have the name Arisen, but I decided to use the name Mancer, and I am on the realm Mancrick. Still looking for his wife. I don't know where she is, but hopefully, hopefully she's safe and in one piece. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But I decided, you know what, man? I played Warlock from the start. It was an undead. I'm gonna play a Forsaken Warlock in Classic, and I took a poll on Twitter, and 68% agreed with that. So that is what I decided to do. And man, I have to say, while I didn't play Classic, the starting area there in Deathnell is pretty much the same as what I can remember from Mists of Pandaria anyway. Obviously now there's no access to heirlooms or any of that stuff, but I didn't really have that at the time anyway, so it didn't necessarily matter. But man, what a feeling it is to go through and kind of remember these quests as I did them. And that's definitely a bit of nostalgia. But it's kind of nice for me because there's new elements kind of like sprinkled in there, like different spells that you can acquire that aren't on like the standard talent tree that you would see on retail now. There's a certain appreciation for finding gear. Like I found a green sword. I can't even use a sword, but I was just excited that I found a green BOE sword because I knew I could give it to my friend who could use it. I found a 6-slot bag in the starting area in Deathnell. That was fucking hype. I was so excited. I don't think I've ever been that excited to get a bag in World of Warcraft before, because all the ones I've ever acquired on retail were guaranteed drops from things like the Black Dragon Shrine and stuff like that. So I knew that I would get them. I think Onyxia drops one too. There's several different places you can get bags, but I always knew that I would get them. But it was kind of cool to just have that one little bag, knowing that I have such limited storage space, and just get 6 more slots. I mean, that felt huge. And I don't know, there's something about that feeling that I really like about Classic. Now I'm gonna let you guys know I'm only like level 8. But that's because I went through the queue yesterday. I queued up my login. I went and I got all the stuff from my other house and I brought it over. And right as we got everything in here, there was like 3 minutes left on the queue. I was like, perfect. This is perfect timing. This is going to be great. I got to the character login screen. It was awesome. I was just moving stuff around in the garage. I was trying to fiddle with the keys on the keyboard to make sure I didn't get logged out. I come back, disconnected. I was so pissed. I just took a picture of it, tweeted it on online, and I was like, hey, I quit. and I was pretty upset that I lost out on my queue. But then I queue up again. Again, this is for Mancrick, and it's only a 30-minute queue time. I get in there, and I try to stream it. OBS won't pick up the fucking game, so I'm pissed. Chromecast upstairs stops working for my girlfriend because I changed the router yesterday, so nothing is working. I go up there to fix it. I come back. I'm so irritated about the whole situation. OBS won't capture. I tried restarting OBS, doesn't work. I knew I'd have to restart the game, but I knew I'd have to sit in a queue timer, so I just called the stream. I gave it a try like 20, 30 minutes later, and I got an instant queue logged in. It was great. So my classic experience, for the most part, has included looking at the login screen like most of you. But anyway, I'm having fun in Classic so far. I may just be getting gray items, but it's just kind of cool to have more of a sense of my character growing, unlocking these different spell ranks. That's something I didn't think that I would like, but knowing that I could go and upgrade my Shadow Bolt felt good. There was something about that, and knowing that there's, 7 more ranks of it or whatever that I can progress through felt good. It feels good to think about the idea that once I finally get into Molten Core, however long from now that may be, or Naxxramas or Encourage, knowing that the armor that drops from there is an exclusivity, right? You can't get that anywhere else, and it's recognizable too. Knowing that no one's going to be able to cheat their way through leveling alts with things like heirlooms. Knowing that because I can't get a mount until 40, that the world is going to feel really huge. And yeah, the game might feel slow, but I'm not going to rush it, and neither should you. Please don't rush Classic WoW. I see a lot of streamers who are trying to do this, and they're going to burn themselves the fuck out. I'll tell you this right now. Don't rush Classic World of Warcraft. Play it as it was meant to be played upon release. Build yourself a character and get lost in the world around you. You don't have to min-max everything you do. I see a lot of people asking me questions like, what's the best class race combo, or what's the best race combo for Warlock? And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know, but I also don't really care, and you really shouldn't either, unless you're trying to get into like a guild that's trying to be like among some of the first to clear raids. I really don't think you guys should worry too much about what race you're playing with your class. Play whatever you think you're gonna like, and as far as picking a class, play whatever you think may be fun. If you've always been a rogue and you love rogue, you love the stealth aspect of rogue, play a rogue. If you've always played warlock on retail, you like having those shadow abilities that you cast, you like being able to summon people and things like that, play a warlock. You know what I mean? There's no reason to complicate it and try to min-max for Classic. And another thing, when it comes to taking your time with Classic, please read the quest text, because leveling up as a Forsaken has already shown me a couple pretty interesting things about the nature of Forsaken, and about how their relationship with Sylvanas is kind of how that's related to how they were controlled by the Lich King a little bit more. It's interesting because the Forsaken, say things like they're not under any form of control or anything like that. They want you to slay the mindless abominations that are still controlled by the Lich King. That's all great. But in some capacities, their allegiance to the Dark Lady is almost as powerful as being bound by the Lich King. I just think that's very interesting. So please, read the quest text. Another thing for Classic, this is just kind of a gripe from me. If you're in a quest area where you're not doing collection, you're not picking up items for the quest, but you're just killing things, and someone messages you and tries to invite you to a group, fucking join them. Play with other people. Even if you're used to playing by yourself, play with other people in Classic, because one, it'll make kill quests go faster. There's no debating that. You will simply finish your quests more quickly. But also, you interact with other people, and with how Classic is set up, you're gonna have to do that. And I honestly think that's a good thing, especially once you have your professions ironed out and you realize that there are going to be certain things that, without just flat out purchasing, which as it stands now, there's kind of a scarcity in money and gold in the game. You're going to have to reach out to other people as resources and trade things in order to get what you need. I'm picking up probably tailoring and enchanting because I'm a warlock. And I'm going to utilize those professions to try to get myself some potions from some people who are practicing alchemy and things of that nature. So it's just little things like that. Really use your character and the tools that are available to you as an advantage, but also as a way to interact with other people, because at the end of the day, that's what WoW is about. We all know that for the most part, WoW kind of sucks when you're playing by yourself. And some people do enjoy playing by themselves. Don't get me wrong. There's been times where I just would prefer to do my own thing. But WoW as an MMO, massive multiplayer online, and RPG role-playing game, which Classic is much more so than anything I've seen in retail in a long time, besides potentially the stuff that we had with Class Order Halls and Legion, that's what it's all built on. It's all built on that player interaction. It's all built on the community. Do I think that you should necessarily have to stand in a fucking line or stand in a queue to kill a quest mob? No. Am I probably going to do that? Probably not. I'm just saying. But, you know, there is a sense of community, and especially since it's server direct, there's no CRZ in Classic cross-realm zones. There may be layering, but there's no CRZ. You're going to build a reputation on your server, and don't be that fucking guy. I mean, you can be that guy if you want, but it's just probably going to mean that you're not going to be able to partake in that many things on your server once people know who you are, if you're going to be a shithead. But let me get onto the point of what most of you watch my channel for, and that is speculation. Will there be Classic speculation? Of course there will be. There are quest lines in Classic, in places like the Plague Lands, for instance, that have been removed from the game in retail. And upon reviewing some of these older quests via old YouTube videos and things like that, there's some pretty cool underlying themes in there. Now, people are going to ask, and some people are just going to say, do you think that there's any relationship from the lore in Classic to current WoW? And then there's going to be people that say there's no relationship between the lore in Classic to current WoW. And I certainly would disagree. I mean, of course, there's going to be things that are in Classic that were written for the mind state of Classic and nothing more. That's all that it is. And it doesn't really tie into retail. But you guys should go in and you guys should read your class descriptions. You guys should read the description for your races and see what it says about them. When you're on the character creation screen, you should check them out. In fact, let's just go look at a couple. So here we are on the character creation screen. Like I said, I got Mancer, level 7 Warlock in Tears Fall Glades. I got Arisen, Immortuus, which is, it's Latin for undead. And then Davudu for a troll rogue. But anyway, let's look at the descriptions for things like undead. Free from the Lich King's grasp, the Forsaken seek to overthrow his rule. Not destroy him, but overthrow his rule. Which kind of indicates a destruction of him. Led by the Banshee Sylvanas, they hunger for vengeance against the Scourge. Humans, too, have become the enemy, relentless in their drove to purge all undead from the land. The Forsaken care little even for their allies. To them, the Horde is merely a tool that may further their dark schemes. Do I think that's the case in current WoW? Yes, absolutely. That is definitely something that I can see among the Forsaken in current WoW. They are still kind of separated from the main chunk of the Horde. I think that's pretty evident. We're going to go over here. We're going to move this so we can read the class descriptions. I want to read these to you guys because I think these are really interesting. Warriors train constantly and strive for perfection in armed combat. Though they come from all walks of life, they are united by their singular commitment to engage in glorious battle. Many warriors serve as mercenary soldiers, while others become adventurers and danger-seeking fortune hunters. A typical warrior is strong, tough, and exceptionally violent. And just remember, in Chronicle, it does say that Sargeras is a warrior. That's just kind of a side point. But I want to read some of these other ones here. Let's take a look at Rogue. Rogues are most successful when their deeds never come to light. Fond of poisons and silent projectile weapons, rogues rely on a blend of stealth and minor mysticism, usually in the employ of rich nobles or local governments. The rogue redistributes wealth or eliminates designated targets. A rogue's allegiance lasts only as long as the latest contract. That's pretty fucking awesome. I like the description for rogue a lot, but there's some that are even more interesting. Let's read Warlock, then Mage, and then Priest. Warlocks are the bane of all life. Empowered by demonic blood, they can inflict great torment upon their foes. To replenish the dreadful energy their spells expend, warlocks drain vitality, or life, from their victims. The warlock can also summon and control terrifying demonic entities. Still, warlocks are feared above all else for their singular wickedness and cruelty. That's a bit metal, a little bit edgy, but a couple interesting things here. They are the bane of all life. Empowered by demonic blood, they can inflict great torment upon their foes. And then it says here, they would drain life, vitality, that's what vitality means, from their victims. I like that. Let's read Mage. This is an interesting one. Please pay attention here. Magi are wizards of immense knowledge and skill. Their obvious physical frailty is deceptive, for they can call upon the cosmic energies of the twisting nether. Rarely do Magi engage in melee combat. Instead, they prefer to attack from a distance, hurling powerful bolts of frost and flame at their unsuspecting enemies. Read that right there. Their obvious physical frailty is deceptive, for they can call upon the cosmic energies of the twisting nether. And mages use what kind of magic? Arcane. Yeah, they have arcane, frost, and fire, right? But it's all under the entire branch of arcane, as is, I believe, necromancy. But it says they're pulling that from the twisting nether. I asked people on my stream the other day, when they think about the twisting nether and what it is comprised of, what force it is made up of, a lot of people said fel, and I found that very interesting, because that's not what, in my opinion, that's not what the twisting nether is mostly made up of. It may be basically the astral realm, if we were to compare it to D&D, of magic energy, where demons may or may not regenerate naturally, and that may be the location of Argus the planet, where fel seemingly is being manufactured by the link between Sargeras and Argus. But the main point is, I think that the twisting nether is primarily arcane energy. It does have the energy of life, death, light and shadow, order and chaos, but I think it's mostly made up of arcane energy. And when we consider the pure arcane energy which we witnessed at the Nightwell, for instance, in bosses like the Chronomatic Anomaly, a manifestation of pure arcane energy, chronomatic being time-related, it would seem to me that the reason why time flows so quickly in the twisting nether as opposed to areas located within what we would call the material plane or reality is because the twisting nether is composed of very chaotic, time-based, and arcane-based energies, for the most part. I think that the twisting nether is a realm of mostly arcane magics. And I think that this mage description right here kind of helps to reinforce that. And we'll read Druid. Actually, let's read Druid and Shaman, and actually Hunter first. Hunters know the uncharted places of the world, gifted with a deep empathy for all life. They have an uncanny knack for befriending wild animals and taming them as pets. I think that's really interesting. In addition, hunters can use their finely honed senses to become master trackers. Wherever they go, they fight back the ravages of sickness, exploitation, and industrialization. I love this one. Gifted with a deep empathy for all life. That's interesting. Gifted with a deep empathy for all life. They have an uncanny knack for befriending wild animals and taming them. That's such an interesting description, I think. Just having a gift for deep empathy for all life. I don't know. I just think some of these little descriptions are kind of interesting. Let's go to Shaman. Shaman commune directly with the elements. Their combination of wisdom and resilience makes them ideal as tribal advisors and leaders. In battle, the shaman used totems and spells to manipulate the elements and provoke other fighters to untold heights of rage and might. Shaman exemplify the primal bond between the savage races and their environment. Interesting that they can invoke rage and might, but I guess that's the entire idea of bloodlust. Druid. Druids live in a state of unparalleled union with nature. Tightly bound to the plant and animal kingdoms, they are natural shapeshifters, and so they know firsthand the abuse visited on their wild brethren. In consequence, despite their numbers, druids tend to be wary, reclusive, and difficult to spot. Few outsiders have plumbed the depths of their secrets. Interesting, it's kind of tying in some secrets of druidism and their ties with nature. Again, things that all relate back to life and the life binder. And on that note, Tauren always strive to preserve the balance of nature and heed the will of their goddess, the Earth Mother. Recently attacked by murderous centaur, the Tauren would have been wiped out, save for a chance encounter with the orcs, who helped defeat the interlopers. To honor this blood debt, the Tauren joined the Horde, solidifying the two races' friendship. That's an interesting one. The balance of nature and heed the will of their goddess, the Earth Mother. Now, a lot of people think that that's Azeroth, and it could be, but I kind of think that that's Aenar. How about the human description here? Humans are a young race and thus highly versatile, mastering the arts of combat, craftsmanship, and magic with stunning efficiency. The humans' valor and optimism have led them to build some of the world's greatest kingdoms. Remember, humans came from Vrykul, which are Titan-forged originally. In this troubled era, after generations of conflict, humanity seeks to rekindle its former glory and forge a shining new future. Paladin. Paladins do battle to protect the world from the forces of shadow. Powerful warriors in their own right, they can also call upon the light to heal wounds, create shields of force, and incinerate evil creatures. Although paladins were once exclusively human, a number of stout-hearted dwarves have recently been welcomed into the Order of the Silver Hand. And dwarves and humans are not that different, but allow me to remind you both of them descend from Titan Forged. And in fact, as it does say the original paladins were humans, this happened because Tyr, who stole the discs of Norgannon apparently from Loken, sacrificed himself to defeat a Cathraxian Tirisfal Glades. That's the whole reason for the name Tirisfal. Tyr's Fall is how it's derived. And the humans actually found the Silver Hand of Tyr. In fact, I believe one of the paladin artifact weapons, I believe it's the Holy One, is called Tyr's Hand, I think is what it is. And they actually founded the Order of the Silver Hand. Some of the original paladins include like Uther the Lightbringer, Gavinrad the Dyer, Tyrion Fordring, etc., Turalion. So a lot of these characters that are now dead, actually, but nonetheless, an interesting thing. It's also interesting that humans, a lot of people don't know this, I think this is actually out of Chronicle Volume 2, their original contact with the light was through Naru. However, they did not know that the Naru were the ones that they were communing with. And that is actually, if I'm not mistaken, way before the Draenei ever crash-landed on Azeroth. The humans were actually being influenced by Naru. That's great, considering what we now know with Kali and Menethil and what we saw Zero try to do to Illidan and everything else that the Naru definitely aren't sketchy as fuck about, like turning into void monsters and sucking in things via pure and raw entropy. But anyway, the point is that the humans have been affected by the light for a very, very long time, and I don't think that that's necessarily changed in live World of Warcraft. But let's get to the most important one. Priest. Priests guide the spiritual destiny of their people. Through their unique insight into the mind, they are able to shape an individual's beliefs, whether to inspire or terrify, soothe or dominate, heal or harm. Just as the heart can hold both darkness and light, priests wield powers of creation and devastation by channeling the potent forces underlying faith. That is one of, if not the most interesting class descriptions. They guide the spiritual destiny of their people. How will your people unfold on a spiritual and religious sense? Priests will dictate that through their unique insight into the mind. So that's an interesting one. You think about things like Soothe or Mind Blast, or I'm trying to think of spells that aren't just specific to retail, or specific to Classic for that matter. They're able to shape an individual's beliefs in order to inspire or terrify, which include, that makes sense with the fear aspect as well. Soothe or dominate mind. Heal or harm. Priests have such incredible and interesting abilities. And then the most important part of the passage is, just as the heart can hold both darkness and light. Think about what I've been telling you guys about the heart of Azeroth, for instance. I think that it's holding the blood of Azeroth and Argus, light and shadow. I don't think that this. I'm not saying that this is talking about the heart of Azeroth from vanilla. I think that'd be ridiculous. But what I am saying is that in a way, you can think about the heart of Azeroth the same way. And I do believe that Azeroth as light is creation, and Argus as shadow is destruction. Priests wield powers of creation and devastation, or destruction. That's what that devastation and destruction can essentially go hand in hand. By channeling the potent forces underlying faith. That is interesting. Priests wield the power of light and shadow, creation and destruction. And they have special insight into your mind. Oh, that's interesting. It also reminds me a little bit of Aman'Thul. But that's a different situation. That's a different video. I think I've covered just about everything that I wanted to cover today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are enjoying Classic. This is going to be an interesting adventure. If you guys want to play with me, we don't have a guild set up yet, but again, I will be on Mancrik. We're playing Horde, and my name's Mancer. So you guys just hit me up. Let me know if you want to join up in the guild, And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like on the video. It's the best way to support me as a content creator and let me know you enjoy my content. If you guys would like to, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, as I'm sure you'll enjoy some of the videos I put out in the future if you liked this one. And check out some of my older videos. I do stream at twitch.tv/Pyromancer, and I also do have a Twitter at twitter.com/PyromancerSarg, S-A-R-G. And I'd appreciate you guys following me on both of those places, and I should be streaming later today, so just keep an eye out for that. But that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Alexa, shut the fuck up. Peace!